Hello. If anybody jumps on here, let me know if you can hear me because I don't believe I've ever done a live video from my computer before. So not really sure if it's working or if the microphone's working. So if somebody could let me know if they can hear me, please, that would be really great. Just comment on there and let me know if you can hear me, just because I've never done this from my computer before and I don't really know if it's working. And then I can go ahead and say what I want to say. So please just comment on there. Can any of you hear me? Hi guys, I see some of you joining. Can any of you hear me? Thank you, Abby. Thank you, Ashley. Okay, so this is spur of the moment video that's kind of on my heart, and it's gonna be hard to say, so I'm sorry, but I'll probably cry. I'm probably gonna start crying already anyway. But it's just to kind of touch base on alcoholism, because if you don't know, I am a recovering alcoholic. I'm sorry. This is harder than I thought. I've been an alcoholic for about 11 years now. Sorry, guys. I am in a much better place now than I have been in a really, really long time. So that's why I feel comfortable and confident saying some of these things. So let me just pull myself together really quick. Okay, so basically this video is one, to make myself accountable, because that's huge with alcoholism, and another thing is to maybe help somebody else that might either be going towards that path or have been on that path for a really, really long time, or a parent of a preteen or a teenager or anybody that has a loved one that has struggled with alcoholism. If I can help one person, then I'm good with being vulnerable on this video right now. So I'll just go ahead and get started. 2 years ago, I could not go a single day without a drink, basically. If it meant waiting until the kids would go to bed, then that was fine. I could do that. I didn't like to drink around my kids unless, like, if I was at a cookout or whatever, then I'd drink there in front of them, which I didn't like. But Brandon was always the sober one, or I would, have a couple beers at dinner, no big deal. But I didn't like to, just be home and getting drunk with my kids. Like, that's not, even the other times when I did it at cookouts, it was unacceptable. And I had to start making some changes. So I do still drink sometimes, and I do still get drunk sometimes. But I do it now if I want to do it. When before I didn't feel like I had a choice. I felt like I would wake up the next day and say, why did I do that again? Why did I continue to do that? Why do I continue to do the same things and think that I'm just going to get better? I'm not just going to get better. You have to act. You have to do things. So I'll start basically by, laying that all out there. I think I took my first drink when I was 14 years old. Probably just once, and then maybe once when I was 15. Didn't think it was a big deal, ever. Didn't ever think it was a big deal. By 16, I was already on a really, really tough path and drank a lot. And I was so good at hiding it. I have no idea how I hid it the way that I did, but I wanted to drink all the time. And so I would get to where I would realize I was getting bad, and I would say, no, I'm done. I don't drink anymore. Well, that normally never lasted me more than 6 weeks tops, if I could make it 6 weeks, and I would get right back in the same rut over and over and over again. It was just continuing. Like, for some reason, I couldn't really get control totally because I felt like I had to have it. I felt like I needed it. Guys, if you have any comments, feel free to comment on there. I can see your comments. But one of the reasons I started was depression. I started because of depression, and that was really stupid. That was really stupid because it's very counterproductive, and it's a vicious cycle. I mean, you're just going to continue on this downward spiral until you finally figure out how to get control, and that was so extremely difficult. And I decided about a couple years ago I had to start making different kinds of changes because the things I kept trying to do, they weren't effective and they weren't working. And so I decided to start small. So how did I stop? It was hard. It was really, really, really hard. And it took reminding myself that just because I fall flat on my face sometimes doesn't mean that I totally failed. It meant that I didn't make the choices I wanted to that time. But it was so easy before for if I fell back in that rut to just say, well, this is my life. I guess I just have to accept it. I'm never going to be able to quit. You can't continue to do that. You cannot. You have to, make some changes. So the first change I realized was the word need. How many of us have had a stressful day at work and they say, man, I need a drink? Or you're really angry and you're pumped up and you're just like, man, I really need a drink right now. Or if you're celebrating, if you're so happy and you're ecstatic and you're just like, yes, we need a drink, need. That's the problem, is I continued to tell myself that I needed something that I, one, didn't need, and that, two, was toxic for me. Completely toxic. So I don't need anything other than the necessities to live and God. I don't need anything else. Anything can be taken out of my life. As much as it would hurt, I could still continue. I could still breathe. I could still live. I could still be something if things were taken out of my life. So I didn't need this alcohol that I kept continuing to tell myself I needed. That's the first step, is realizing I don't need it. Maybe sometimes I want it. Yeah, sometimes I would like to be able to sit and have a drink. Okay. Once you learn a little bit of control and, how to not be a victim to it, basically, that's when some changes can start happening. So you can't call yourself weak. You can't say, I need this and I'm weak and I can't do it. Stop talking to yourself that way right now. Don't allow anybody else to talk to you that way. Don't allow a single person to tell you, well, you're weak, you'll take the drink. Because people will, and they don't mean to be harmful or hurtful or whatever. They're used to your patterns. Don't tell somebody else that they're weak and that they need it and they have to have it, because it could be impacting them. You don't ever know somebody's struggle unless you're literally in their shoes. So don't fall a victim to it at all. I do whatever I can to not be a victim in my life. And if you don't need it to live, decide if it's making you a better person. So I don't need the alcohol. Look at it differently. Look at it totally different. Every time you are about to put your lips to that bottle, ask yourself, Will I be a better person tonight, tomorrow, and next week if I take this one drink? Will I be better? Well, you might say, well, it won't be worse. What's the big deal? It's just one drink. But will you be better? Because what you want to put in your life is what will make you better, not something that's potentially hazardous to a lot of situations. Is this one drink, just one, going to help me reach my goal? Whatever goals you have, goals for being a better mother and being a better student and having a better job and just all around a better life. Is this one drink moving me towards that? Or is it moving me back? Or is it keeping me in the same place? Because I'm not looking for anything that's going to keep me in the same place or move me back if I'm trying to move forward. So you have to get in your own head about it. I mean, I say this all the time. What you say and what you think is extremely important to your life. It changed my life, literally. And if you ask yourself that question on, will this one drink make me better tonight, tomorrow, and next week? If the answer is no, don't touch it. Just don't. I mean, one of the things that I was used to doing, which was no big deal, would have a drink or two in the evening before I go to bed. But when I started school, I couldn't do that because when I take a drink, I get really tired and I'm ready to go to bed and I just want to go to sleep. Not always a big deal for people, but if I'm in the middle of my schoolwork and I start getting tired, I'm not going to do my absolute best. So I had to decide, get an A on this assignment or get a C maybe and have a couple glasses of wine. I had to decide that I wanted an A. I had to decide that that was my goal that I had already set and that this was not going to move me towards it. And I had to not take the drink. If that's not enough, if my children, either one of them, was me right now in this exact same situation, like literally the same, with not a single difference in their life, would you encourage them to take the drink or to put it down? Which one would you do? Do you encourage them to take the drink or do you encourage them to put it down? Because if you encourage them to put it down, there's your answer on what you should be doing. Because they're not going to do what you say. They're going to do exactly what you do. And you're making the best decisions for them by starting with the best decisions for yourself. So ask yourself that question. If my child was right here, right now, what would I hope they would do? The next thing is think about apologies. Do I want to take the chance of having to apologize to a loved one, a friend, a stranger, or anyone for that matter? Because, I've got tired of apologizing. I decided that years ago when I decided to start making these changes I'm tired of saying sorry about stuff that is not in my normal character, that I wouldn't have actually done, but because I was under the influence, I decided to act less than my best. And that's unacceptable. It's absolutely unacceptable. If I would have been sober in this situation, how could I have handled it differently? And would I be apologizing today? Because I just don't want to be put in the situation where I have to continue to apologize to my friends for acting like an idiot or for arguing with them or to Brandon for, talking to him like crap and getting home too late. And I got tired of apologizing. I don't want to say sorry for things that I could have avoided. I'm tired of that. Is that still not enough? Because I got more. How's it affecting your children? If you're a parent, this might tug at your heart a little bit. Have you ever been just too tired and had a headache or something? Not a huge deal, but you were tired because you stayed out late and had a headache because maybe you drank a little too much, and that caused you to be a parent less than the quality you have in mind for yourself. I mean, did you yell at them because they were too loud because you have a headache? Did you forget to take them to the park like you promised? Did you sleep in while they were ready to be up for the day? I mean, those kinds of patterns don't seem like that big of a deal, but they really are. They are a big deal. And if that's the way that alcohol is affecting you as a parent, then maybe you should make the change and tell yourself you don't need it. I mean, it's hard. It's a hard decision. It's a hard habit to get into, to say no, but you can. Think about your children every single time you're about to take that drink. Because what if they walk in the bathroom and pet your head and tell you that they are sorry you're sick while you are vomiting profusely into the toilet? They think you're sick. They think you have the flu. They're young. They don't know. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. That situation will break your heart every time. And I can look back at my life and I can see situations where I allowed that to be how my children saw me. And I'm not doing that anymore. My child should never have to see that, because mommy stayed out too late and came home and the next morning didn't feel good, and now she's vomiting in the toilet. And I'm sorry my mommy's sick, but they don't know that it's alcohol, right? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if they know or not. It's affecting them. And they're going to look back, they're going to see a pattern later on in life and when they get older, and they're going to be able to look back and say, my mom was sick, but my mom made herself sick because she chose to be under the influence of alcohol instead of saying, I don't need it. And that should break your heart. It broke my heart. I was tired of that. So think about that the next time you just want to have one. Think about every situation that I just said when you're thinking about just having one. Because I was the person that would say, I just want to have one drink, no big deal. And 6 hours later and tons of liquor, and I planned on one drink in 30 minutes. And so think about that the next time you just have one. Not everybody's going to struggle this way. Some people, they have the control. Fantastic. People like me have a really hard time. And I am in a place now where I'm better, I'm stronger. I understand how it works. I understand what I'm capable of and that I'm in control. And I understand that me talking about it could help just one person. So I'm good with that. I'm good with helping just one. I'm not going to be perfect. I'm still going to drink sometimes, but I got to a better place to where I feel like that's okay. But one of the things that helped me a lot was not just saying I don't need it. It was also evaluating the situations when I would overdo it. So high emotion situations. Think about that. High emotion situations. How many times do we say, yeah, it's my best friend's birthday, let's go celebrate? And how did that go? Or for another reason, let's celebrate. You have high emotion. You're extremely happy. You want to celebrate. So you just keep going and keep going and keep going because you want to celebrate that high that you're on, that you accomplished something, or it's a good day, or whatever. Don't touch it when you have a high emotion situation like that, like a celebration. And that can be really hard for people. That was really hard for me. It was 4th of July, my birthday, whatever. I mean, if it's a high emotion situation like that, stay away from it. What about a high emotion situation when you're sad? You're just going to get more sad. I mean, you're thinking, oh, I need this drink because I'm so sad right now. I just want to numb it. Well, you're numbing a lot of other things too. You're pushing yourself back. You're not allowing yourself to go forward when you're just trying to numb. When you're sad, cry. I mean, make it simple. Cry instead of take the drink, because you're just going to end up crying more. What about when you're mad? I mean, how many of us have gotten so mad that we're just like, I just really need to have a drink right now. I just really need to calm down. I just really need to mellow out. Don't even think about it. Don't even think about taking a drink when you're mad like that. Thank you, Micah. I'm glad you love this. What else can you do when you're mad? Replace it with something healthy. Go for a run. Sit at a peaceful park in the quiet and soak in what God has given us. Write. I like to write. Some people like to write. Whatever can calm you and keep you healthy and grounded and ready for whatever comes your way, that's what you need to do. In high emotion situations, you need to dig down. How do I need to make myself feel better without numbing the problem with alcohol? And that was hard for me. So if you tell yourself that you don't need it and avoid taking even a sip in high emotion situations, chances are you're going to start seeing changes. Hi, Bubby.
Hi.
What are you doing? Did you have a good nap?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Do you want to say hi?
No,
Look. Say hi.
I can't.
You can't. All right. I'm almost done, guys. Sorry. I know this is a really long video. But I'm going to say it again. If you tell yourself you don't need it and you avoid taking a sip in high emotion situations, chances are you're going to start seeing changes. Also, there's more of a habit in it too. It's not always easy. I mean, if you hang out with people that drink and you have rituals and this kind of thing, you're like, well, I don't want to change my friends and I don't want to change my rituals. One thing I learned to do was I was used to always having a beer in my hand or a mixed drink in my hand or something like that in my hand at these parties. So take a case of water. Literally, take a case of water, and every single time that you feel yourself starting to reach for a drink or somebody starts to pass you a drink, you go and you grab another bottle of water. I did this. We had a big bonfire one year, and I decided I wasn't drinking that night, and I knew that would be really, really hard. So I took a case of water with me, and I didn't take a sip all night of any alcohol, not at all. I had the bottle passed to me. I had it like this. I realized what I was doing, and I handed it back, and I said, no, thank you, and I walked straight to get another bottle of water. And I probably drank about 12 bottles of water that night that would have potentially been 12 beers / whiskey and Coke / whatever in a mixture or whatever. instead I was able to drink water all night because I realized that actually having something in my hand was part of the problem too. I was used to that habit, and I had to figure out how to make it more than mental for me too. I had to make it real. And that's hard to do. So take a case of water if you're going to a party, and that way
Mommy,
you at least have a way to
can I
not have a beer in
have
your hand.
balloons?
Your balloon.
Uh-huh.
I'll get your balloon out of the trunk in just a minute, okay, Bubby?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so it seems small to just say I don't need it, and it seems small to say don't drink in high emotion situations.
40 seconds.
And 40 seconds? Oh, and it seems small to say take a case of water to a party. But small, consistent acts, those are the ones that become habits. So even if you've tried these things and they're not working, continue to try them, because you might get better at it. You probably will get better at it, because sometimes it's really, really hard, and you're going to fail sometimes, and you're really only failing if you decide you're not good enough to keep trying. So keep trying. So just a couple quotes real quick that I wanted to share that I saw online that I thought would be helpful is think big, start small, act now.
Start.
Because
This
I
is
have big.
This is small.
That you're right, big and small. Yep. So if you think big and you have big goals, break them down, start small, and act now. Pretty simple. The other one, we are what we repeatedly do. So even if that's a small thing of repeatedly doing these changes, that's who we become.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't touch the computer, Bub.
Help me.
Say hi.
Hi.
And also I want to say, if anybody is struggling the way that I've struggled personally and want to reach out, please contact me. Please contact me. I don't mind at all. I would rather you contact me. Be careful. What are you doing, you crazy person?
I'm gonna get that version.
If you have a loved one that's struggling and they know they want to make a change and they're not sure what to do or how to do it or how to start or anything, quit. Squirmy butt.
Yes, Gunny.
You know, you can refer them to me. I don't have, anything that says, hey, you're great at counseling people or whatever, but maybe one thing that I say sticks and helps, and it's worth a shot, in my opinion. So if you have a loved one that's struggling and they know they want to change, contact me. Feel free to share this video. You can share it to anybody and everybody. If you are a parent and you have a preteen or a teenager or anybody that you either think might be drinking, are at risk of drinking, or that it is the age where they might be in a place of trying it. 14 was very, very young for my first drink. And I had no idea what I was getting into. And if you have a child that you would like me to talk to, if you want to show them this video, please do. Because if I would have made decisions a little differently earlier, things kind of could have been different for me. I mean, I like my life. I like my bub, right?
Uh-huh.
But I made things harder on myself because of the decisions I made when I didn't really know what I was getting into. So, sorry this was so long. I hope you guys liked it. Leave me some feedback. Share my video. I am starting a YouTube channel and will be uploading videos on there as I can. So, thank you guys for watching and have a good day. Say bye.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.